Recently I was making a video about FM stereo radio and I was doing a bit of research, and in the course of that I came across this thing and it intrigued me, so I naturally picked one up. This is imported from Italy, the CityRadio. This is an internet radio, and therefore it'll connect up to your Wi-Fi, it'll stream radio stations over the internet, and you'll need to set it up with an app initially on your phone from iOS or Android. All quite normal stuff, and I've got other internet radios. But the thing that intrigued me about this was how it kind of simplified it down a bit and also harkened back to radios of the past. Because if you look at the buttons on here, each one of them lists a city, and these are interchangeable. So you just press the button and you hear the radio from that city. At least that's the idea. We'll find out if it actually works as advertised in a moment. But that reminded me of the radios that I used to see around the house when I was a child that had the names of cities printed on the tuning dial. And not really understanding exactly what that was about at the time, I used to think that if you tuned into that particular part of the dial, I'd hear the radio from Paris or Delhi or wherever it was that was listed on this dial. And of course, it didn't quite work out that way, because the idea was that you'd have to be close enough to receive it. So yeah, if you were close enough, there was a station at one point broadcasting from that city at that position on your dial. But by the time I was growing up, most of those stations had disappeared, or I was too far away to pick them up. But just that idea of being able to pick up a station from somewhere else in the world still kind of interests me a little bit. Now, of course, you can do it with internet radio. I've got internet radios already, but the trouble is there's kind of too much choice. You start going through your genres or your different stations, and it takes a little time to connect to each one. And when you've connected up, some of them are really poor quality, some just all seem to be adverts, some aren't the thing that they said they were. Eventually you'll find one that you like, you'll favourite it, and you'll go back to that one, and then a couple of days later maybe it's just disappeared. It all seems a bit haphazard. So by taking out a lot of the options on the device itself, you're just left with buttons here, and I'll press that one, I'll get Moscow, and that one will be Paris, at least hopefully. So let's get it out of the box, let's have a look at it, let's see if it works, let's see if it sounds all right. It's a Bluetooth speaker as well, quite a small thing, a little bit smaller than I was expecting, so perhaps not expecting too much out of the sound quality from this one, but let's give it a go. Now, there's quite a lot of English on here, and I presume they're going to sell this around the world, but at the moment I could only find it for sale via companies in Italy on eBay, so that's where I got it from. I don't know if someone's already been in here. I don't think they'd pack it like that normally, would they? There's supposed to be, I think, 18 interchangeable cities that can go on here. Right, well, happy to see all the buttons are there. Not too happy about the plastic quality here at the edges, where they've just broke them off the mould. So these are magnetic. As you can see here, you can just take those out like that, pop them back in like that. On the top here we've got 4 buttons: power, memory, left and right, volume control on the side, USB-C charging point at the bottom, indicator light next to there, but notice the rechargeable battery is non-replaceable. Therefore this is going to be a device with a limited lifespan, something to bear in mind, but also bear in mind that it's reliant upon an app, and if that app happens to go away or just stop working, well, this device is going to stop working too. The streaming of the live radio stations is ensured for quality and transmission speed by an exclusive agreement with one of the most accredited providers in the world. What are we going to put on here? That's the question, isn't it? Because I've got to pick a few stations, so let's have a look. I don't think I want Moscow, I'd rather have Barcelona. We'll go with that. And now let's try and set it up. The instructions here, those are all in Italian. However, this little book here, which is the one that no doubt would get included with international sales if they did them, that's all in English. So we'll leave it charging, let's download the app. Right, so it's called CityRadio, all one word, and if we open that up, it's going to tell us that it wants to connect up to the radio. So it's telling me now to turn on the CityRadio. I might as well do it while it's charging, I don't think it'll matter. So we'll get that switched on. Right, started. Second step, connect your phone via Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth 4.2 by the way, this, just in case you're interested. It tells us to download the app in the app. Surely. Alright, okay. Connected to the radio. Now if you notice the layout on here, it does not match the layout of the buttons as I've got them now, because I've swapped a couple around. It's not a smart device, it doesn't have NFC on the buttons, it doesn't know which button's in which position, so it's down to me to swap them to the ones that I've changed them to. So I'll just have to remember what I've got here. So I can go into the settings and it shows me the layout, and we changed Cairo for Sao Paulo, so that's alright. And we changed Moscow for Barcelona. Alright, so let's give this a go. We'll pick Beijing to start with. Well, it doesn't go very loud. That's maximum. Okay. Barcelona. Okay, we'll have to skip through these for content match reasons, but as you can see, it takes a little bit of time to connect to each one.
On KTU, stay safe.
Right, I realised what I was doing wrong with the volume. It's nice and loud now. But the problem is that the volume was being controlled by the phone. Let me just demonstrate. Which means that it's just working like a Bluetooth speaker, and that got me thinking, hold on, I haven't done the step where you connect it up to the internet. Normally with an internet radio, using your app, you'd tell it what your Wi-Fi connection was, give it the password and things, and then it would be off to work on its own. But no, this is not what I thought it was. This isn't an internet radio, this is just a Bluetooth speaker with a phone app. So what's happening here is, if I disconnect the Bluetooth, it just stops. That's the end of it. There's no connection outside Bluetooth in this, so I can't connect this up to my home network. I've always got to use it with the phone. And then you're thinking, well, why bother? You might as well just use your phone. The difference is that this gives you these nice presets and a speaker that's better than the one on your phone. But other than that, basically it's a tethered device. Okay, very limited automatic interaction between these two. I'll demonstrate. If I was to turn this on, you'll hear a chime. Right, it is on now. So at this point, you might well expect that you could do something. You could hear a beep then. It seemed to connect up the Bluetooth. So let's press Tokyo. No, nothing. Same will go for all the other buttons as well. What we have to do, we have to go into the CityRadio app on the phone. So now you might think that'll do it. But no, if I press Tokyo here, it says connect a CityRadio device. I thought it was already connected. But what we have to do, we have to go up to the Bluetooth up here. Wait for that to connect. Now it's connected, and now it should work. So let's have a go. There we go. Okay, so we're on Nairobi now. Now, there's two ways you can go to your different radio stations. If you're using the app on your phone here, we could just jump directly to one. For example, we want to go to Hot 96. Let's just press the button there, and it will jump straight to it. But you've also got these buttons on the top, left and right here. Now, if I was to press right, we should be dropping down to the next one down, which is IFTIIN-FM. And it's showing at the top there, and it's buffering, so it's connected up to that one now. So again, if I was to go to this one, it'll go to FM 98.9. So you can control your radio here, or press it directly there, and once you get to a radio station that you want to automatically show up every time you press this button as the first choice, for example now, if we want this one here, we can either press the heart on the phone there, or we could just press the memory button and you'll see the heart light up on this one here. So now we've selected that as our default for that button. So every time we press Nairobi, we're going to hear this radio station. However, you do still have the option to jump through the various different ones, either on your phone or on the device itself. Really quite a pleasant tone coming out of this speaker, considering its size. It seems particularly well suited to spoken word, but it's also not bad at all with music. Which is pretty handy because there's no other output on this. There's no line out, headphone out or anything. If you don't like the sound of the speaker, you're pretty much stuffed, but fortunately it's all right. Now I should mention, of course, you don't have to keep the application front and centre on your phone. You can be doing something else, such as browsing the internet, and the audio still keeps coming through. However, if you do something that requires the audio output, such as watching YouTube, well, that's going to take over
we have
the speaker.
retro design and also this more compact hatch design.
Now, if you're wondering if you could just use the CityRadio app and do away with the speaker itself, well, no, it does try to connect to it, and if you quit out of that, eventually it should accept this. It's a little bit flaky at times. Well, you just get into this page, and pressing a button here just tells you to connect the radio. So I think part of the agreement that they've got with this company that's providing these feeds is that some of the cost of this speaker goes towards paying for this service. Now, make no mistake, this is quite a nice little setup. I like the sound quality from this. I like the idea of these buttons on the front and the way it operates. All very nice. However, I'm not in the business of reviewing smartphone apps and smartphone accessories, and that's really what this is. I don't really have any interest in that at all. I like standalone devices, so I thought I was getting a standalone device. It turns out it is really just a phone accessory. So that's why I'm a bit miffed. However, if you go into this now after watching this video knowing full well exactly what you're getting a speaker that you'll need to use with an app on your phone over Bluetooth, well, maybe you'd be happy. I will say though that clicking through these, I still enjoy the idea of listening to music from different places and stations, and some of the radio that you get around the world seems a lot better than what I can pick up here. I particularly enjoy listening to some of the stations from Tokyo. Now, whether they actually are from Tokyo or just from Japan, I'm not too sure, but it doesn't really matter. Just the idea of pressing a button and getting a particular part of the world still appeals. And if someone wants to bring out a device that was like the one I thought I was getting, where you had a standalone unit connected up to your Wi-Fi that could then stream music from around the world at the push of a button, I think that might be something that would be of interest to more people than this, who would already have the smartphone. And to be honest, you don't need this. You get plenty of internet radio station apps on your smartphone already. That's probably why I thought that this was something different, because I thought, well, why would anyone make this? Anyway, they did. So it wasn't what I thought it was. Sorry about that. Just a short video. You know, sometimes you make mistakes. This was one of them. I've got another Bluetooth speaker. I'll add it to the stack. Anyway, that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.